Hello, Internet. I'm Chrissy Duffy, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and my story times. I hope you're all enjoying them so far. I am recording a lot of these in advance. For example, it is July 23rd when I am recording the audio for this. So, we're gonna go back into more arcade stories. Those are the scripts I have written, and I need to clear out the video log. And so yeah, also thank you guys so much for being here, for watching my stuff. Also special thanks to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters, Dymond, and Micah. You guys are awesome. And so yeah, so we're gonna dive back into the arcade stories. If you missed any, don't worry, there's a whole entire playlist full of my story times. Enjoy them. Also enjoy the art right now. Last story time, which was Gothel Never Figured Out How to Talk to People, was a lot of the video footage from when I was working on my Sonic Reanimated scene for Sonic Rejuiced, which you guys should totally check them out. They are reanimating a whole entire episode from the Sad AM Sonic the Hedgehog series. I did a shot, I believe some of that video footage of me working on the shot will also be here in this one and a couple of other things as well, but I'm not sure. We'll see how the timing works out. But let us go ahead and dive in to this absolutely ridiculous title, which is, Why Make Rules If You No Follow? This title is very memey. Let's see if I remember to make a thumbnail for it, because I kind of do. I have one sketched, but we'll see. I should probably do that to increase my metrics, but whatever. Hello, Internet. I'm Chrissy Duffy, and welcome back to my Storytime series, where I tell you stories from my life over my speed paints of art I've made. We're back with more stories from my arcade days. Today's topic, rules. And the fact that next to none of the managers followed them, even the ones they made, it happened constantly. For example, we're not allowed to let people who aren't employees into the back office, even if they used to be employees there. They're no longer employees, so we can't have them in the back office. However, Scarlett, who was a bowling manager, constantly let two old employees in the back office. These two girls, whose names I don't recall, were buddies with her and also used to work in the bowling department under Scarlett. It had been over a year since one had quit, and she would often be in the back office, chilling and gabbing away with Scarlett about whatever. Though Scarlett got into some petty argument with another ex-bowling employee, who I'll call Mina. Mina, if my memory serves correctly, was a good employee and a nice enough person. But Scarlett didn't like Mina for whatever reason, but Scarlett was rude to Mina a few times that I saw, and as her department manager, I'm sure Mina felt like there was nothing she could do. And when Mina quit, Scarlett said Mina was no longer allowed inside the arcade itself. Mina came to the arcade in her spare time after she had quit, and Scarlett straight up had her kicked out. And it was so stupid and petty, and I'm not the only one who saw it so, because, I talked about it with a couple of other employees, because we were like, what the fuck? Scarlett's being such a petty bitch. But yeah, Scarlett was notorious for not following mini rules. For example, we only sell water bottles. We do not have free water cups at all. The reason for this is because many people in the Stonecrest area would just use it to get soda from the soda fountain, since it's not behind the food counter. Because people were dishonest and rude, more so than decent, we do not do free water cups. They do have a water fountain by the restrooms anyone can visit, though I don't know if the water fountains are functional currently with the plague and such, but they were when I worked there. But Scarlett, Jet, and even Gothel, the one who lectured us the most about water cups, gave out free water cups often. Then I, whoever was working in the kitchen, would be blamed for it when they got soda instead. If those customers came back, they would yell at us when we told them we couldn't. This happened often. Frequently often. At the bar, The rule with beer pitchers is a minimum of 3 people per pitcher. I had at least 5 times of the managers giving pitchers of beer to groups of 2 people, or even just a singular person at some point. I also had them not check IDs or accept IDs that technically weren't allowed to accept. Examples: foreign IDs, expired IDs. I even had one manager accept a paper ID before. They would also give people drinks that they knew... Hold on, let me read this. They would also give people drinks that they knew they were taking to other people even though, like, the rule is whoever is getting the drink has to come to the bar to get it themselves. And the managers love to, like, break rules at the bar often. And then just leave me, Sonia, and Matachi to work the bar and deal with, like, the aftermath from, like, backlash from customers when we were following the rules. Or if something happened, we would be blamed for it by the management, even though, like, we didn't give that person the alcohol anyway. There was also a time when Goffel wanted us to change the labels on the food every morning with a different date, even though it wasn't prepared that day. It made me super uncomfortable and felt very illegal to me. Like, the date is so we know what day we need to throw it out. But Goffel wanted us to change the date every day, even though we weren't preparing that food that day. Example, you cut some tomatoes and some onions to prep them. Tomatoes last 3 days, onions last 7. So I would cut both and fill them up. On the label, I would mark prepped on Monday, June 1st. On the expired date, I would write on the tomato expires Wednesday, June 3rd, and onions Sunday, June 7th. Goffel wanted me to change the label to say that I prepared those items every day, when in fact I didn't. I remembered this after glancing over that 4-page letter that I wrote to Chuck, the GM, that I had mentioned a few story times ago. Also, if anyone wants to hear me read that letter, I am more than happy to read it. I do still have it in my Google Docs. So if you guys want to hear me read that, I'm more than willing to do so. Please let me know in the comments down below. It annoyed me to no end the amount of times the manager broke rules or cut corners. I wasn't the only one annoyed as well, but it got under my skin. Another bar kitchen rule I just recalled is you have to pay before getting anything. This rule was drilled into all of us. However, several of the managers would just pour the drink or cook the food and serve the customer, and when the customer wouldn't pay, it became my problem, or the problem of whichever employee was there. Chaos knows they wouldn't handle it most of the time. One time I was working in the kitchen. Goffel was at the bar, actually working it for once. It was either a Friday or a Saturday. Goffel got over the mic and tells me to make a burger. I have several tickets, so I let her know to make a ticket. Managers can send tickets through without payment. I had found that once I get into my rhythm, if there is no ticket for an item, I'll forget what that item was for within 5 minutes of me fucking making it. So if I wound up with an item without a ticket to go with, it got thrown away or put in the back for a coworker to have. Needless to say, everyone learned real quick. No ticket, Chrissy's not gonna make that shit. Simple as that. So I make several orders and the burger's done. I grab the ticket and I call it over the PA system for the store. I had forgotten it needed to go to the bar. To me, it was just another order that would take a moment for the customer to claim. We had no heat lamp or food warmer, so all unclaimed orders stayed on top of the pizza oven since it was a great source of heat and the main source of heat in the kitchen. Goffel had left the bar by this point, but a guy with an empty glass called me over and asked me about his burger. I asked what order number he had. I had several people claim they had ordered food and didn't. He was already like being rude and had an attitude. He claimed he didn't have a receipt. I get on the mic and ask Goffel. She confirms it's him and that I have to make him pay before I give him his food. An annoying red flag that I didn't want to deal with, but fucking got stuck with. Goffel had left herself logged into the register system. Another thing you're not supposed to do, so yet another rule broken by Goffel. But since she was logged in, I could pull up the bill that she had saved to tell him how much he needed to pay. He got more rude and kept saying, give me my food first. I told him I couldn't until he paid. This went back and forth for a moment. He even said, let me see it. I picked it up in the kitchen to show him the tray from the kitchen before putting it back on top of the pizza oven. Because, after all, I was instructed not to give him the food until he paid. And was forced to deal with this shit. Dude just kept being, like, more irate as I stared at him with, like, a blank expression. Trying to figure out, like, what his whole entire deal is. Because, like, it's not my fault, dude. I'm just following my job. I'm doing my job. Why the fuck are you mad at me? Scarlett, who was the bowling manager, was on duty at the bowling counter. She did come over, like, did she come over to assist at all in this situation? No. All she did was tell me to leave him be, even though he kept yelling at me. And so, yeah, I had walked away when Scarlett told me to do so over the mic, because she wasn't going to come over and help with shit, and neither was fucking Goffle. Sonia eventually came onto the floor and took over the bar. Guy was rude and aggressive with her, too. Eventually, Goffle came back to the bar to handle the situation with what I think might have been one of the security guards. The guy had slammed his empty glass on the bar so aggressively that it was so loud, I heard it over the noise of the arcade and the kitchen. And then Goffle, a few minutes later, would joke, after he had left, "What'd you do to make him so angry, Chrissy? Like it was all my fault?" This and probably everything else that had happened up until that point, and all the other BS of the arcade, caused me to snap back with, "I didn't do a damn thing to the bloody cunt." Or something of the sort. Now, I can't recall if this convo was over the mics or not, but Goffle and Sonia were both shocked. I could tell that by their faces before I went back to cooking. After all, I hardly ever used foul language while at work. I always tried to be professional, and I had, like, this kind of, like, Southern auntie appeal about me, and often being really sweet with my coworkers, so they were both taken aback by my snapping back at them, but Goffle and all the other fucking managers keep breaking the rules of the bar, and then I have to fucking deal with it, and it's a fucking bitch. But yeah, Goffle later called me to, like, an empty karaoke room to lecture me about my behavior and my attitude, and she threatened to send me home, but didn't. Like, she never wound up sending me home. After all, her staff was bare bones and couldn't afford to send me home. The staff knew it, she knew it, the managers knew it, the security guards knew it, I knew it. And so I was left to just cook food for that day. And I'm pretty sure, like, the only people there for, like, a couple hours was just me and Sonia. And I think, Blaze came in, like, a couple of hours later, like, to help close. No, I don't even think Blaze was there that day. I'm not even sure if Matachi came in. I think it was just me and Sonia, and I think maybe Matachi or Blaze came in towards, like, the end of my shift to help close the kitchen, because I feel like I helped close the kitchen that day. Because, once again, short fucking staff. At the very least, I left at 12 when the bar closed. And so I had to close the bar, which meant I was there until damn near 12:30 or 1 o'clock cleaning that bitch. But yeah, I had almost forgotten about that incident until, like, I was staring at my notebook trying to remember, like, other rules the managers made but broke often, which was fucking a lot. And it was always, like, the kitchen rules. Like, Goffle made a rule, like, if someone's holding outside food, one, you're not allowed to bring outside food and drink into the arcade. The managers and everyone would let it happen constantly, but I got fucking yelled at and lectured for allowing it to fucking happen. And then I was told, you can't serve anyone who has any outside food or drinks. We're not allowed to serve them. Goffle and Scarlett and everyone broke that rule fucking often, and then I would get yelled at for it. And then customers would get bitchy at me because, well, they're letting me do it, and they're the fucking manager, but I'm just like, yeah, but they're getting on my neck because I'm letting you do it, and it's fucking hypocritical bullshit with them all the goddamn time. And it was just, so goddamn fucking annoying. I was like such a bitch. But yeah, those are more arcade stories. Thank you very much for listening, for being here. Thank you very much to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters, Dymond, Glass, and Micah. If you guys want me to do a quick sketch for you guys during any of my live streams and send it to you, you can donate any amount to Ko-fi, and that helps me mainly keep my bills paid and also keep doing the art and entertainment stuff. So yes, thank you all for being here. Have a lovely day. Stay hydrated. Share stories of bullshit that happened at your jobs. I would honestly love to hear it. Thank you all for being here, for being supportive. Have a lovely day. Let the YouTube algorithms know you like my stuff. And stay hydrated. Bye-bye!